Alright. So basically all you need to know about this strat. So this is pretty easy. I mean, this is exactly what it looks like. It's really similar to it's similar to the Y1 flower in that if you eat it too early, then it's bad. And then the whole trick is over because now you don't have a fire flower. Here, you jump, you want to land here. And land on this ledge, the flat part. At least that's where I like to land. You have to do a left-right here. A big left-right. Way bigger than it feels like. Like, that was maybe a little bit too big, but you'd rather have too big than too little because let me turn on sprite slots for the explanation because it'll be a lot easier. And I have the wrong stuff. Okay. Okay, that's simple. Alright, land on this little ledge. Left, right. So here, see how the green shell is in slot 7? And see how this fish is in slot 7? You want the fish to be in slot 7. But if you just go, then he's going to be in 3. And that's bad. So you want to kill the shell because it's in slot 7. But you can still, like... See how the number 7 doesn't go away until the cloud goes away after you stomp it? Like, you can stomp the shell and go over here, and the cloud will still be spawned while the fish spawns. So you need to, like, delay it as much as you can, like that. And you want the fish to go into 7. This is probably the hardest part for me because, like, I want to be quick, so I try to, like, stomp it too early. But, like, you want to go as fast as possible, but if you go too fast, then the fish goes into 3, and that's bad. And the reason why fish going into 3 is bad, it's not because the fish matters, but because this red shell matters. When the fish goes into 3, the red shell goes into 7. And the red shell going into 7 is bad because it is the shell that you use for the double tongue. And that slot will get filled with a null sprite. So if it's 7, then that's bad. And the reason why slot 7 is so important is because Reznor only works, or like he'll only end the level if he's in slot 7. So don't want slot 7 to get filled with a null sprite. So that means you don't want the red shell to be filled with slot 7. Alright, so setting up for the double tongue, you want to land here. I've tried before landing on the slope. Landing on the slope makes it a little harder to do the double tongue. Mainly because of the way you just hit the item box and the fact that you're a little too close and you'll end up like always overshooting shell. Killed the green and then the blue Koopa. So remember when I said here that if you go like a little bit to the left, you'll spawn the Koopa, and you go a little bit to the right, you'll spawn the Rex, and it's over. If you stomp the green and the green shell and this Koopa, then you don't have to worry about going too far to the left, because there's nothing over here that'll spawn. The P-switch goes into 6, and then it's persistent, so it won't come out of 6. And then since both the shell and the Koopa are gone, there's nothing over there. But the thing is, it's pretty easy to stay in this spot and not go too far to the left or right. So I just stopped doing that because it was really hard to hit both the Koopa and the shell and still have P-speed. Anyway, so you land on this little flat part. You want to jump, like do a full jump, and right, like when Mario is underneath the item box, you want to hit X and then select. That's the optimal strat, is to hit X and then select, because that'll give you the double tongue like that. It's X 1 frame before select. If Yoshi sticks out his tongue only once, then that means you hit X more than 1 frame before select. And if he doesn't do anything like that, that means it was the other way around. If you notice that Mario sticks out his hand, which is kind of hard to see because he's invisible during the cape transition. But he is sticking out his hand. If you notice that, you can drop the flower again immediately during the transition. And what that'll do is if you happen to hit X and select on the same frame, which means that you were 1 frame off of getting the double tongue, you'll get the double tongue on the second try. So it basically turns double tongue into a 2-frame trick instead of 1. Like that. That was an example of it. Right there. It's hard to show it off because, like, there it is. So you can either get the double tongue by pressing X and then select, like that, or you can press them on the same frame and then during the transition drop the flower again, and then that'll give you double tongue. It does lose time because you have an extra power-up transition, but you still get the double tongue. And then it's okay ending with fire in this level because doing a quick swap in Groovy at the beginning is really easy. Because most people already go to the top of the screen to throw away the red shell so that the fire isn't in the way. Yeah, see, that also happens. I usually looked at Mario, and that was just because before, when we did the setup, you were cape, and you were switching into fire, so you would notice that Mario's hand was sticking out. But I think you can be like, since you're jumping here and Yoshi's face is already sour, I think even if you're like hella early, like even if I don't press X at all, he has that face, so I don't know, I guess that's not really the best thing. But I guess you can use that to tell that you can try to drop the item, I guess. If you were hella early, then it just won't work. Alright, now, for after you get double tongue, and then doing the tongue cancel, you want to hold left. You want to buffer left, basically, going into this. But not too far, because if you buffer left for if you press left too long after you go, then you will be too far away. And you want to, like, grab the red shell, slow down and stop and, like, stay still, and then as the second tongue comes out, go under the Koopa. This takes a lot of, like, feel. Once you kind of know what you're doing, you'll get it. It's hard to explain. Oh, and another thing is you can get the double tongue on the first frame and still drop the power-up and it won't mess up anything. So if you, like, accidentally think that you got the backup, like, it'll still work, but you just lose that transition time. This is from me not buffering left enough. There we go. Okay. Alright, so once you double tongue the guy, the Rex, that's... Oh, and another thing is you can try jumping over him instead of going under, if that's something that's better. I found it's easier to go under. Yeah, I haven't done this in a while now, so I've basically forgotten how to do it. It is possible. So if you have trouble going under, you can try going over. But I find going under easier. Alright, once you do that, you want to stay still on top of the hill until the Rex dies. Sometimes you can kill him, like stomp him, which is faster, but most of the time he falls through the ground. Oh my gosh, doing this so many times in a row is messing up my hands. Okay, so most of the time he just falls through. So you don't want to scroll the screen naturally left until he's dead, basically. So like, see how the screen jerks over once I press left a little bit? You don't want to do that until he's dead. When he's completely off the screen. Or you stomp him. If you happen to stomp him, that's good. Amazing. Also, another thing, if Yoshi goes flying off to the right, it's basically over because the sprite slots get all messed up. So make sure that you're holding right and not jump while you get hit by the Koopa. In GBK, I think a lot of people hold the jump button while they are taking damage. So that they fall right back on Yoshi. But in this case, since it's like an upward hill, if you do that, you'll miss. You kind of see what happens is Yoshi runs and he's like right here on the slope. And Mario's on top of the flat part and just... You want to run off the edge and land on him instead of holding A, because if you're holding A, then you'll float off of this bit right here and you'll miss him. And then he'll run away to the right and it's over. Oof, I don't know what that was. Like, accidentally hit select again. Alright, so the guy falls. You want to slide down the slope and kill the Koopa that's there. Oops. That's weird. Usually don't press up there. I'm afraid to make a safe state during this. There we go, okay. Right. So, kill the guy. So, this is where the part where I mentioned about going too far. You want to go to here. And at this point, that you should have the Koopa, or you should have the fish in Yoshi's mouth. You don't want to go too far. Like, once you get past there, like, you don't want... I'm looking over on this side of the screen, to the left. You don't want, like, much more than that showing. Because once you go, like, here, that's about where the Koopa spawns, and this won't work anymore. You'll still have the fish, but the Reznor won't be able to spawn because this guy's in 7. And the Reznor needs to go into 7. And then what you do is, so... You can stand on this slope without, like, sliding around. Like, these slopes, you'll fall down. But this slope, this, like, 30-degree slope, you can stand on. So what I do is I stand right on the edge of it. Right here. And then right when I need to spit out the fish is when I'll press down really quick and then spit them out. I don't hold down the entire time, because holding down does make you slide. And then, like I said, you want to spit right when the fish is right about there, a little bit before. And then you want to make sure that the fish goes into the water. If you are a little bit too far to the right, then he will bounce off of the ground, and that's not good. And then as soon as you hear that blip sound, then you stick out Yoshi's tongue, and it should work as long as slot 7 didn't get filled. Now, this fish is not spawning sometimes like that, and that is because the Rex didn't completely die yet. So see how right now he's falling through the floor? If I go too fast, he was still spawned when I got over here. And so I will have a Rex instead because the fish never spawned. So you have to wait for him to actually completely fall off screen before you do this. The first 3 BK. 3 BK. 3 BK. Okay, so that's funny, and it's only funny to me